Thank you for staying with us. And I said to you earlier that we have a guest. You can see the so-called red cap chief has
Not so called. I'm
so
a red
where
cap
is your red
chief.
cap?
You know one thing, if my father catch you calling me so called red cap
No,
chief.
forget
God,
it. I want to see your
so,
cap.
you are saying this, don't worry.
And this is Jerry who doesn't ever wear traditional clothes. So yes, you
I'm a
always see him
modern
in suit.
I'm a modern chief.
What? What does that mean?
Modern chief, you know you are a titled man,
Uh-huh.
but you choose to appear in English attire. Of course,
And drink tea in the morning.
you see, okay,
I eat
you
biscuits.
want me to be eating up early in the morning?
know.
Don't worry, my constituency people will come for you later. But let's just go on with the show. You see me after the program.
Jerry, we do have our guest. I told you we're expecting Honorable Samson Osagie. He is here in the house. Good to meet you, sir.
Yeah, Vivian, surprise. I didn't know you were the one here.
It was me all along.
Yes, nice to meet you again.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted that surprise. So all along I was calling you. I was just coding.
I'm happy to see you.
Yeah,
Happy
good to
be
see you
here.
too. Good
And
to see you
it's a
too.
good job by Clearview. And it's a nice one.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We used to see you, and Nigerians know you, seeing you on the floor of the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
The
You
green
know,
chamber.
the green chamber, making your point. Sometimes disagreeing, but staunch, resolute in what you believed. And now you have transited and to corporate government. I just want to ask you. You are a lawyer by training.
Yes.
And from the State House of Assembly in Edo, and then to the House of Representatives, and then now. How has it been?
Well, first and foremost, it's been quite interesting an experience being in corporate governance. You know, the Bible said, man shall not live by bread alone. So you can't do one work all through your life. And of course, it wasn't my own making. I mean, it was providence. I actually missed my seat in the National Assembly. I had wanted to return by going to the Senate in 2015, but I couldn't make that election for obvious reasons, the politics of 2015. And now by 2017, I got appointed as Executive Director of Marketing and Business Development in the one and only Nigeria Communications Satellite Limited, a major national asset that the government of this country has put in place in order to make Nigeria rank, superior among the Committee of Nations within the Africa continent. Unfortunately, not many people understand what it means to own a communication satellite. We have so many other satellites in the country. NASA is a regulatory and a research agency in terms of satellite services for Earth observation and a number of other activities. But for communication satellite, it is a major technological breakthrough for our nation. When we launched it first in 2006, it had technical issues and got deorbited, and then it was replaced by the Chinese who made the first one with Nicomsat 1R for the purpose of providing satellite communication services, which ranges from satellite broadband communications, which of course you have navigational services, and a host of other services that we can render, particularly in areas where mobile telecommunication services cannot access, where fiber optics services cannot access. So it's a huge national asset targeted at ensuring that Nigeria take a leap in technological advancement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You answered my question, because I was going to ask you what exactly, it's night comes out, what exactly do they do? But you have answered that now. And before we go into other details, I see you, I saw something about maritime there. I saw something about some other countries, Liberia, Botswana. But before we go into that, I want to ask, how do you are the executive director, marketing and business development,
Yes.
NIGECOMSAT. How do you market something that belongs to the federal government? Why bother to market? Everybody knows it belongs to the government.
Well, yes, that is a very critical point. By nature, satellite communication services is purely commercial. And in other climes where satellite communication, the industry has developed, there is a regulator. The regulator, for example, in the US is the Federal Communications Commission, which is the equivalent of the National Communications Commission in Nigeria. Now, as a service provider, we are just one of the service providers. There are other private sector service providers in the satellite industry in Nigeria. Even though they are not indigenous, they are also there. They provide satellite services because they have their beam over Nigeria. So we are an indigenous satellite communication service, first of its kind in Africa. And our satellite, with all its payloads, the Ka band, the Ku band, the C band, and the L band, have footprints and coverage across not less than 34 countries across Africa. The whole of West Africa belt is covered by us. We provide services in Botswana, in Benin Republic, Cameroon, as far as Southern Africa, Rhodesia, to be precise. Then across Nigeria is our major belt. So we market it because we are operating as a commercial entity, and we need to reach out to the customers. Unfortunately, you understand that even as a government-owned company, with government having the full, being the full subscriber to the shares of the company, but it is run for commercial purposes. And then we also need to be able to compete with the private sector that the industry. So we are in competition with the private satellite service providers. Hence, we also need to do our marketing. So the fact that they said that the government has no business in business is not entirely correct. If government renders services and is able to get the public to subscribe to the services and it provides it, ordinarily it should. It is only in the Nigerian context that we see government business not anybody's business, so nobody runs it well. So, and that has also impacted on the psyche of the people, of customers, in even trying to patronize or say, after all, it's government service, you can't trust them. It is not true in the case of NACOMSAT. We try to give our services, broadband communication services, like your station is on our DTA platform. We have over 40 channels, television channels, on our broadcasting platform right now, that we are hosting with our ground station in Abuja. So we are also a relatively young company when you compare the age of other satellite companies that have, been in existence for over 30 years. We are just barely 9 years.
Because I was going to ask you, what are there? Are there some challenges? Because your size, the size of NIGECOMSAT, from what we understand, you can do a lot, maybe even a lot more than the privately owned ones.
Yes.
Some non-Nigerian ones, but it does appear that Nigerians seem to favor, because you go to most homes, you find that it's not NIGECOMSAT that they are watching. Nigerians seem to favor the non-Nigerian ones. What are the issues?
Well, like I said, we are still a relatively young company, still developing, still investing in our infrastructures. It's not a cheap business to run. That is the truth of the matter. The money the government has put into that place is enormous. So yet there are a number of infrastructures we need to still put in place and be able to develop up to the stage where you now have what DSTV is doing. Obviously, we are not going to be competing with DSTV because that is not our calling. DSTV is a downstream company, taking their distance from Eutelsat, which is a satellite company. So we serve as the backbone. So, for example, if Clearview decides to say, okay, they want to take on a DTH platform and then take all the channels and we'll give you all the necessary backbone, then the Clearview, for instance, can become the status of a DSTV and take all the channels and take it to the various homes. That is direct to home. So ours is to provide the backbone while we partner with private investors to take the services to every homes, and that's why we call it satellite broadband DTH, direct to homes. Ditto for our satellite internet broadband services. We can't be selling broadband to every Dick and Harry, to every homes. We do bulk selling through transponder lease, through huge bandwidth sale to ISPs that takes license from NCC, and then they sell to private individuals or provide enterprise solutions to small and medium scale enterprises. So the challenge that there is was that the first satellite that was launched had technical issues, and it got deorbited. And trust Nigerians, that has impacted on the psyche. To see, some people still ask me when I talk to them about NACOMSAT, say, are you people really sure that you have satellite up there? The question is that we do have a satellite up and running. It is true that the first satellite that was launched, that NACOMSAT 1 Arrow, in 2006, developed challenges in the orbit, and then it was sent to the graveyard. These are technical issues, these are technical terms. Where a new satellite was relaunched in 2011 to replace that one that got deorbited. And I can assure you that our satellite have been up and running. You will be surprised that in Bauchi last week, when the president went to commission the newly Air Frontier exploration that was done, NACOMSAT provided broadband services, for that particular program. And as I speak with you, it's still up and running. Because the NNPC had to contact us because it's a remote area where you cannot easily access mobile internet, you cannot easily access fiber optics internet. So that is exactly the gap that the satellite faces.
And staying with that gap, you talked about that. You are working, NACOMSAT is working to bridge that gap. I see a few things which will come to bit by bit. But first of all, we'll talk about the NACOMSAT is hoping or has started, we would like you to fill us in, providing internet services for what you call the unserved and underserved
yes.
People in remote areas. How's that panning out?
Yes, the way it works, we are a commercial entity, and part of our marketing strategy is to reach out to ISPs, who have commercial jobs to do by way of extending internet through the rural areas. For example, NITDA is our sister agencies that does this very well when they take up services to most of these remote areas through innovation hubs, knowledge and innovation hubs, even other star companies, NCC, through their university programs that they do in remote areas. Now, what happens is that we are able to provide these services to bridge the gap in those areas where you do not have other services that can easily provide them internet, because our satellite covers everywhere. It is not for us to go to every village and be installing satellite services. We are a commercial company. We are a commercial venture, not a charity organization. So it is for those who have this responsibility to extend these services to those areas, to get the services of NACOMSAT, to extend this. Under the 2019 budget, for instance, we have a few projects to execute in very remote parts of the country, in Gombe. In some areas in Lagos, you'll be shocked. It's very remote areas in Lagos, in parts of Edo State. We are about executing those projects now for the various owners. We have also tried to reach out to schools and hospitals, in rural areas, so that you can bring them into the network that will give them access to easy information for both the teachers and the students. And that also is, the cases of treatment of certain kinds of diseases in remote areas where they have where they cannot easily get access to the urban centers, where you have more qualified consultants that can attend to certain issues. That's what we call telemedicine. So telemedicine,
okay,
ill health, telemedicine. So we provide internet services to these remote health centers where you don't have other services, and then the consultant who is in the major hospital in town is able to treat a patient in the local hospital, through the kind of services we provide. It is through satellite services that these things can be made possible. I don't want to dwell about the issue of security. I was listening to a radio program this morning, and they said one of the best ways you can tackle crime and nip it in the bud before it happens is when you secure satellite services to be able to reach out to this. And NACOMSAT is doing a lot, in this regard. I don't want to go beyond that.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. From what you've said so far, it seems for your marketing strategy as at now is more of the grassroots. So, how have you been able to market night concerts to the elite? And if you have done, have there been any progress so far? Is it just about the grassroots, or are you thinking of carrying the elite
No,
along?
no, no. The grassroots is the target, actually, but it is the elites who understands the technology that can take it to the grassroots. So actually, what we try to do is that, as an indigenous firm, we're leveraging the executive order 003. We talks about local content to reach out to the elites to say, look, this country belongs to us. Nacomsat is a Nigerian asset. Let us make use of its services to reach out to those areas that you are using other countries' satellite services to provide services. For example, we have a customer that has jobs with TED Fund, you know, in certain schools in rural areas in some parts of the southeast. Very huge amount of project. And then he's using that concert, you know, to provide services in those areas. Those are the kind of things that we're talking about. It is the elites that we are trying to make understand that our services are reliable enough for you to use. And to be honest with you, you're not going to be paying in dollars, whereas foreign satellite services will charge them in dollars. So the grassroots, the served and the underserved areas are the target areas in order to bridge digital divide. Because the expectation to create at least 30% before the end of last year was barely met. I mean, people who have access to internet. So NetComsat is part of that ecosystem, among others, that has that mandate to bridge the divide by taking its services. So, but we need the cooperation, the support, the patronage of the elites who are involved in the industry, who are involved in the enterprise of providing internet services, and other services to the served and underserved areas across the country.
All right. What's on the lips of everyone now is the general elections. They are just days away. I would like to find out: is there any role that Niger Concert is playing in toward the success of the coming election?
Yeah, we had hoped that NICOSA was going to be part of the preparations and arrangements to provide this through INEC. We can't do it on our own. We have an electoral commission. Of course, the commission paid us a visit and requested that we should. We actually did put our proposals together for that, but unfortunately, I'm not sure due to financial constraints that INEC is able to enlist us, NICOMSAT, as part of those to provide those services. So in this general election, we are not playing any role as an entity because the Electoral Commission has not engaged us. Okay. But there's still time. They can still call us tomorrow. We are waiting.
Okay, and from there, I heard INEC chairman saying sometimes ago that electronic voting in Nigeria, I understand that the constitution as at now has not approved that. But when they asked him, a traditional ruler actually asked him that question, he said, look, for now we can't go there because we need digital service to be able to reach those grassroots. Like in some remote areas that you mentioned, those places they can't have access to internet, and INEC say it will be difficult to transmit their results. I am asking, just in case maybe Nigeria get to that level of we have approved the electronic voting, can NICOMSAT or will NICOMSAT be able to handle the technicality?
If they approach us now, even now, NICOMSAT will be able to handle some of those areas that have no access to internet services. That is what I've just told you. If we are asked today to deploy our services to those remote areas in order to ensure that they are able to transmit results, NICOMSAT will be able to handle them. But it's up to them because they have the full responsibility to conduct the election within the limits of the resources available to them. I want to think that maybe they have challenges because it's a huge number of areas we are talking about, 774 local governments, and virtually in all the local government you have communities where voting will take place, and some of them have no access to even voice call connections. That means there are some of those communities where you cannot make a telephone call because they have not been reached. So the truth is that it's a huge number of areas we are talking, and when you put the numbers together, it comes to a very huge sums of money. So I believe that if we are engaged, even now, we can render the service very effectively. I'm very sure of that. And that explains our submissions to INEC, for which we are still expecting a response.
All right, we had some of your colleagues come here some months ago and talked to us about night comes. It was kind of technical, and for people,
Those are the engineers.
The engineers. Maybe the red cap chief, in his spiritual wisdom, probably he understood, but I didn't. So I'm going to ask you right now, what is the exact reach of? They talk about something like footprints. For me, footprints
is coverage. I have mentioned it here.
Yeah. So what's the exact reach? Where are we seeing right now? How far is this going?
Oh, at the moment, you can be seen in no fewer than 10 countries within Africa, particularly West Africa, but on our platform, NICONSAT platform. And anywhere, no matter how far, anywhere they have their services, even on a dish, and you put our LNB, and be able to point accurately to our satellite, you'll be seen. This is what we've been telling a number of states across the country. We have told a number of states, we have engaged a number of states to say, bring your state television station on the NICONSAT platform. What that means is that you will be seen beyond your state, and at least you'll be seen across Nigeria. Are you getting the point? For example, NTA Makurdi is on this platform. You can watch all the channels on this thing in this place. NTA Makurdi is on this platform. I mean, not Makurdi, Meduguri. So an NTA on its own has already reached an agreement with us now to take part of their transmission. So like I told you, the coverage is wide because our satellite has a very wide coverage across Africa.
I agree with you because here, excuse me, we receive calls from all over Nigeria.
Exactly.
Yes, we have our phones during our live programs. Exactly. We receive calls from everywhere. Even Niger Republic.
The Niger Republic, yes, that's what I'm saying.
People call us from
all these borders countries around us. You receive call. You're going to receive call from even Southern Africa, because not all part of South Africa, the southern part of South Africa, is within our reach. So it's that far within Africa continent. And it's the first indigenous satellite communication in the whole of Africa.
Really?
Angola and Algeria have just joined by launching satellites middle of last year. But they are yet to take full operations. So we have been on ground since 2011, effectively providing services. But we are navigating our way to the top in a very competitive and complex industry that accounts for the slow pace of growth and movement. And because it's a fully government-owned company, we are also subject to certain government bureaucracy and, of course, government policies. So with time, NICONSAT should be able to develop strong enough by the time we're able to have a second satellite, and then we'll begin to grow our capacity to render services to the maritime sector like we are doing now, to the aviation sector. Only recently, we got an investment for Thales Alenia in France, to help develop our L-band on navigational services for aviation, for maritime services, for fleet tracking, so that you can be here and track the place of your vessel on the high sea that is coming from the United States.
On my own?
You can be in the plane, and through NICONSAT service, you are able to browse on the internet in the air. So these are the services we are capable of rendering.
And I see that he also rendered services to some countries like Wharton, Liberia.
No, we have not started rendering services. I actually personally paid a visit
to Liberia.
To George Weah, where we tend to provide. We started discussions on providing services for e-education, tele-education for their remote areas. Liberia is a war-torn country, trying to rebuild and reconstruct. It's facing a lot of challenges. So we are looking for funding to be able to assist that countries. And we are discussing with our Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be able to convert part of their aids to Liberia for the provision of these services through NICONSAT. Just the way
so I don't forget, I don't have this written down. You talked about pointing to your something
satellite.
on any dish.
Not exactly. The technical people will give you the right prescription
Okay,
of the particular dish.
The exact prescription.
Exactly.
And sir, maybe before you said something about the services Nigecom site can provide, but will you say that we are utilizing Nigecom site in Nigeria to its utmost best, or
No,
are
no,
we
no. Definitely, that's what we are
underutilizing
saying.
it?
I said we are in competition. We came into this business when a number of foreign satellite companies and their partners in Nigeria were already in business. You understand? Like most businesses, they won't let go. So we are leveraging on the fact that we are a government-owned company, and the executive order on local content, together with the law establishing law on local content, to say, look, the only way we can build our own country is to patronize made in Nigeria. So satellite services that is being provided by the Nigeria Communication Satellite is a made in Nigeria service. So what we are saying is that Nigerians should patronize the services of Nigecomsat. If there are challenges, there are also challenges, for instance, with foreign satellite services, for which some will migrate to come and meet us. They've been paying so much for this satellite company. They are tired of paying huge. In fact, there are challenges. Some that are even on fiber optics, come to say, look, this issue of fiber cut from time to time gives us problem. We need a backup. So, and these services can be used, mutually. You can have a fiber service and you can have a satellite service, each backing up each other in case of downtime. So we are in a position to provide these services, and we are saying, look, we cannot only rely on foreign services in every aspect of our life. This is technology. Nigerians are capable of doing it. I was reading something on the internet 2 days ago. You know, Gatwick Airport, the greatest investor, the chairman of Gatwick is Ogunlesi, he's in Nigeria. Now they are developing a technology by which you drive to the airport with artificial intelligence and robotic machines. They take your car for parking with no human intervention. The machines come to where your car is, take it up, and take it to where you should park. Those are Nigerians, and to be honest, we should have confidence in ourselves as a nation. So that is one thing I have had to gain being on this side of the divide. I have made laws for this country. I have joined my colleagues to make law for this country for 16 good years. And then now I'm on the other side of the divide, implementing government policies and pushing for the use of our own services by corporate Nigerians and every other person. So we have the capacity. But one thing we don't have in this country is that we do not have the belief in ourselves in rendering services once we are within Nigeria. And that is why it is easy for a Nigerian, for instance, to leave this country, and immediately he steps into Europe, he starts obeying the laws. Immediately he gets back, he feels that here is not. We are the architect. We would be the architect of our own fortune, just the way we are the architect of our own misfortune in several ways. The president can't do everything. The governor of the state cannot do everything. In fact, there is little or nothing they can do. But our own people must develop the fact that, look, this country, we can build it. Nigecomsat has the capacity to deliver most of the services that foreign companies are providing. And what that will mean is that there will be less capital flight. Because the money you pay to foreign satellite companies, they are using it to develop their countries and their economies. No job creation, except a few ground staff they use for marketing and their partners. Their companies and their ground station headquarters is in Europe and America. But we are here. The number of families that Nigecomsat is taking care of to remove them from the job market is enormous, both formally and informally. So it's a huge national asset that government, that the Nigerian citizens can leverage on to create wealth for our economy, and then build small and medium enterprises along the line, because ISPs are like small and medium enterprises. The more of ISPs that take services from Nigecomsat and deliver it to their various users, both small and medium companies and individual homes, the more job you create along the value chain.
Okay, all right, sir. As we begin to round up this interview, how would you rate the success of Night Concert so far? You say it's still in its infancy.
No, Night Concert is work in progress. I must confess, it's work in progress. We have a long way to go, and we are not giving up. At least for the period we have the opportunity to work there. We have seen that this is a great national asset. And what we need is that commitment to be able to compete. It's a huge task. It's work in progress. And I can assure you that the potentials are very huge. Much the same way the infrastructures still require in order to be able to compete favorably are still very huge. But for what we have, we are able to deliver services very effectively. A number of areas are enjoying our services, but you won't know. But that is the truth of the matter. We are growing.
And finally, for stations like ours, Clearview, on Night Concert, what's in it for us? What do we expect?
We assure you that you will enjoy our services uninterrupted, except when the issues are really serious for which you'll be notified. Because these are man-made technologies, you can be rest assured about that. And you are one of the latest entrants on our DTH platform. And given the way you are going, you appreciate what we are doing. And as far as I'm concerned, this is collaboration at its best. That what you are doing for Night Concert now is quite understandable, is quite appreciated. I mean, bringing us here. There are a number of channels that are on our platform that we are not having this relationship with. I can assure you that you will enjoy this relationship, and by the time we have time to hold meetings, we can explore other areas of partnership that will improve on your services beyond where you have started.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us on the morning call.
Thank
and
you,
we hope to have you back to update us on, like you said, this beautiful relationship that we're forming now. And we hope that we really go far together.
By the grace of God.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
The
sir.
red cap chief.
Red cap.
Without the red cap.
The fake red cap.
No, I'm not fake. Honorable here is supposed to come with his black cap.
No.
As a member of the Green Chamber formerly, I understand.
You are trying to remind us of Emeka Ihede.
Yes, I wanted to say that.
That is the green cap chief.
The green cap chief,
in the
yeah.
green chamber.
In the Green Chamber,
Yes.
yeah, my brother.
Yes, well done.
Thank
I appreciate
you,
it.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
We have been speaking with Honorable Samson Osagie, and we've had a beautiful time. He is the Executive Director, Marketing and Business Development, Night Concert. He has, like they say, thrown more light. He threw the light inside the issue. And we've had a good time. The program continues. This is still the morning call.